For example, potential tax increases for next year, perhaps seeping into views of this year. But I just want to show you a chart here. I don't know if you can see it. I know you know what it says, which is that compared to CEOs of larger businesses, small business is much more pessimistic. Which I'm just wondering if you could explain that difference. Why has, if you see there, big business CEO confidence has really bounced back, but small business confidence has really just flattened out. You would think if it were policies out of Washington, both CEOs of big and small businesses would be reacting the same way. Your explanation, Bill?
Well, that's possible. But remember, big businesses are not labor intensive, and a lot of what's going on in Washington has to do with labor costs and hiring. So that's one of the issues. The other is that, of course, the mainspring behind the recovery for large businesses, the manufacturing firms and so on, is what's been going on the export side and the inventory build. And I think everybody agrees that that's going to fade out by the end of the year. So profits are looking good. Yeah, we're going to get some more good numbers here from the big companies, but that's still pretty much cost-driven and not top-line driven. And for us, for small business, you know, there seems to be no top-line driving going on here. We're not seeing the consumer spending back, and consequently, we're cautious about where we hire and how much money we spend.
Bill, I want to ask you a question. Looking between the difference of a C Corp, say, like a large business, their tax rates are staying at 35%. When you take a look at the tax increases that are coming in 2011, the new healthcare tax increases coming in 2013, the top marginal tax rate that affects small businesses like subchapter S corporations, LLCs, that goes to, I think, 44.8%, about 45% top tax rate. Is that what you're seeing? Are small businesses looking at the tax rates that they're experiencing? They have a wave coming in 11 and 13. Does your survey boil it down to specifically what from government that is bothering them, that is giving them reason to hold back? Is it the tax rate differences or what?
Well, we don't, but we're going to ask some specific questions in a survey very soon to find out what are the specific things. But if you look at it's just not expectations on the tax rates per se, but just the cost of carrying labor under the health care bill, the promise, the heavy discussion of a VAT, the deficits scare us to death. We don't understand how we can keep doing this. So everything you look at that Congress seems to be thinking about is not helpful for small businesses, and they don't see it as helpful to the economy. There's no stimulus here. It's just drawing resources out and deploying them in the government sector, not helping the private sector. Nothing there to really stimulate the consumer and make the consumer feel better. I mean,
Bill,
consumer sentiment's not good either. Well,
Bill, you were at the Fed
the opposite of what we're doing.
Bill. Bill, tell us what you told us. You told the Fed yesterday when you were there at the Small Business Conference.
Yeah, well, of course. Well, Chairman Bernanke asked us small banks to get busy and lend to small business, and my point was, you could lend a small business at 0 interest rate, but they have to pay the money back. So they're not going to hire people that can't earn their keep. They're not going to invest in plant and equipment that won't earn its keep, et cetera. And that's really the issue. So putting on my banker hat, we have plenty of money to lend. We just don't have applicants, and I think I heard that theme running across the board. What we need is something to help the consumer out, and that could be 2 things. One would be a tax cut that is more or less permanent, at least for some reasonable time in the future. And the other is stop scaring us to death with all this stuff that's going on. Let's settle down. It really worries ordinary folk that the government's not even going to have a budget, that they're just spending money, and we're worried about where that's going to take us.
All right, Bill, thank you very much. Steve, thank you. I wasn't sure who was saying
He does smile. He can smile. He comes with this really bad data, but he smiles.
You have to keep smiling here, But I can't shave the mustache yet. No good data.
It was more of a wince than a smile, I think.
Yeah. Bill, thank you. We appreciate it. And Steve, we'll see you a little later this morning.
8:30 for the trade data.
If you've got any